Welcome to Woman Meets Motherhood. Today we're going to be talking about our own labour stories. And I know everyone loves a good labour story. And we're not here to scare anyone. We're here actually just to share our own experiences and our journey of labour. And which, to be honest, for me, I actually like anticipating labour, and I've had very good two labours, quick, easy. But I would say I'm a Christian. And so for me, going into getting pregnant and thinking about, well, what does labour bring? I really wanted to trust God for a pain-free labour. So by the grace of God, that's what I had. The second one there was a little bit more pressure, but I think I wasn't in the right state of mind as I was with the first. There was a lot going on. But honestly though, it was something that I could just do again, like straight away. It wasn't. When you
say pain-free, I mean, what does that mean?
Okay, as in there was no pain. Like there was pressure. So when I would have a contraction, my belly would go hard, and then it would go hard. So like everything is tight, you know, feeling tight, and then it would just release.
But it doesn't feel like ow.
No.
But do you feel like you're still in discomfort, or it just feels like, oh, there's something happening?
It feels more like just tight. Like say if you're holding in your breath a little bit, kind of thing. Like okay. I don't know, but there was no pain. There was no like, I know some people talk about like a period pain or...
I felt like it was electric shocks.
Okay, yeah, so like there was none of that. And because I remember even, I think when I first started having contractions, was early in the morning with Jiraiya, maybe 6 a.m. I think there was a prayer call, like early, we used to have, I think Saturday morning prayer. And I think I was supposed to lead that morning, but from like 4, I'd be feeling some hard. And then, so I was thinking, but it was 8 days before my due date, so I wasn't really expecting to go into labour. And then they were regular. They weren't very close, but I remember them just that there was a pattern and they were coming. So that's what made me think, could it be this? Could it be not? So I remember calling Tracy, my sister, who had just had a baby 3 months before. I was like, I'm having contractions, but I don't know if this is it or not. And she was like, maybe it is, just to see. So then I think around midday, because it was continuous, I decided, let me go to the hospital. Went to the hospital, and I remember the midwife checked me. And I don't know if were you there?
No, I think I came to your house, but I don't know if I went to the hospital.
Oh, okay, so when I went with Alex, she checked my belly. She was just like, oh, yeah, you're definitely not in labour. Like the way that I was just like,
calm.
Yeah, I don't know, yeah. And then I remember she checked my belly or whatever when I had a contraction, and she was like, oh, your pain threshold must be very, very high. And I was like, this is not painful. It's actually not painful. She was like, well, your baby will come she was like, your baby's going to come around 4 o'clock. That's what she said. She was like, so just go home, just walk around. But she was like, there's no pain. I did not feel pain. It was just hardening and releasing. And so, and then even later, I went home to my mum's house. There was a birthday party happening, a 1-year-old birthday, so lots of children. And that kind of agitated me a little bit more so than the contractions, just like all these kids in the house and noise kind of thing. And so I thought, let me try and eat. I couldn't really eat. I wasn't really feeling like eating. So I thought, okay, let me maybe, I think she's going to try and have a bath. So I had a bath as well. But then I was like, I don't know. I just feel like the baby's going to come soon. And so I remember my husband had gone to play football it was like a church football match or something. And because obviously no one thought I was actually in labour, I was just like, you got aged, like nothing's happening. He went to play football. And then,
we went back to the hospital.
I called the hospital first.
Said, don't call Alex.
Yeah, Trace was like, I called the hospital and they were like, oh, you don't sound like you're in labour, so it's your first baby, stay at home. And Trace was like, tell them we give birth quickly in my family. So Trace even spoke to them.
They were like,
I was like,
you can't tell her.
They were even like, Trace was like, I gave birth quickly. They're like, so when was your first contraction? She was like, like 24 hours. They're like,
it's not based on your mum, your auntie, your sister. Everyone's individual.
They're like, but you can come. We can come. The birth centre is not free, but if you want to come. We'll check you. But if you're not established labour, so 4 centimetres, then you're going home. So Tracy was like, don't call Alex, you're not in labour. Just go there. Just it's better to be there, kind of thing. But Tracy did not think I was in labour. So I remember we were in the car on the way to the hospital. I was with Golda, Priscilla, my mum.
That's it.
Yeah. And I was like, Golda, call Alex and tell him to come. Like, I just feel like, just call him. And so Golda called Alex.
And I said, come now. And he was like, yeah, I'm coming. Obviously, that voice like, yeah, I'm coming. I'm not believing me either. And even the pit stop was made to McDonald's on the way.
Yeah, he went to McDonald's on the way because he didn't think, no one thought. And then when we got to the hospital, do you remember, there were just, I think when I would have a contraction.
You walked in.
I walked in.
You would stop.
Yeah, so should we talk to him? I'm having a contraction. I was talking really quietly and calm, like,
Stop.
oh, I'm having a contraction now. Oh, 1 second. Okay, yeah, no, it's part. Like, oh, that's how I was talking. Yeah. And so she was just like, oh, we don't have to check you because you don't really seem like you're in labour, but if you want us to, we can. And I was just really feeling like I don't want to waste their time. And like, but
she was listening to them, basically.
Yeah, like I didn't want to listen to them. And my mum was like, just let them check you. Yeah. And I remember the first time I went to the hospital, they checked me and I was only 2 centimeters, so I wasn't like in labour. So she checked me and then she was like, oh, you're 6 centimeters. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, I really feel like I need to poo. I need to go to the toilet. So I remember going to, so like, there's a toilet there. So I was like, yeah, I just need to poo. So I sat on the toilet and then my waters just broke on in the toilet. And then like Alex came in, like I think literally at that time. Yeah. And I thought, yeah, I need to poo. And then they were like, okay, just come to the bed and just do whatever your body tells you. So I think I was like on my all fours, and then I just remember
Alex was fanning her.
Yeah.
And me and Priscilla like in the corner because we weren't meant to be in there.
Yeah.
The delivery suite.
Yeah, because I literally had like my mum, I had four people.
My mum was in the corner praying. And me and Priscilla in the other corner like, please kick us out.
But I think because I was so like calm and they didn't anticipate quiet. That I was going to go into labour. Yeah. So they were just quiet. Yeah, we were just quiet. So I think they just let them be. Yeah. And then I can't remember how long I was pushing for. I just remember maybe 15. I think it was like there wasn't that many pushes. But yeah, but I remember one part which I let go of my confession a little bit, which was when the head is coming out. Yeah. And there it feels like, you know, you had some spicy food in the nighttime and then in the morning you do a spicy poo. You know those ones? Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about? So do you know what I mean? When you had some kenke and pepper. Yeah. So I was like, oh, kind of thing. And then I just brought my mind to like having, because I eat a lot of spicy food. I was like, oh, this is just what I do. And then I remember thinking of Jesus on the cross. And I was like, nope, hold tight to my confession. And then just head popped through. Then everything just came out. And then that's it. No tearing, no nothing. And I remember the midwife was like, that was a textbook labour. She was just like, even my mum was like, I've never seen labour like that.
Even her mum in the corner was going.
And she's had 5 children. Yeah. So it was honestly, and I think I showered like
half an hour.
Yeah, like the placenta came out and everything. And it was just like, I could have done it. And like if I was having twins, like I could have just pushed out another one. It was, honestly, it was everything. Because as I said, I'm a Christian. And I had confessions. And literally the confessions were like, I'll be in the proper place at the proper time, the proper help. If I had stayed in the house, and because literally from getting to the hospital as driving born, I think it was like 25 minutes. Like it wasn't that long. So if I had stayed at home for another half an hour, I would have been giving birth at a 1-year-old birthday party. Can you imagine the kids being like, oh my gosh, Auntie Jenny's having a baby. Can you imagine? Yeah. But I was in the proper place with the proper, everything that I said. And I just really thank God because, yeah, I couldn't have art. I mean, and then with Zachary again, it was similar in the sense that I was having regular hardening and loosening, but it wasn't painful, so I wasn't sure. But then I was thinking, well, Zachary was born 2 days overdue, so I was kind of like just wanted it to happen anyway. And my mum was putting pressure on me, like, Jenny, you need to pray to block anything. I was like, Mummy, it's 2 days over, like, calm down. So I think I wanted it to happen. Yeah. But again, it was just contraction and then so I went to hospital again, like all calm. Priscilla was there. I remember calling Priscilla, like, she said she wanted to be there. I was like, I'm going to the hospital now. She was like, are you being serious? I was like, I'm going to the hospital now. She was like, but you don't sound. I was like, I'm going. So and they let me come because it was empty, like the birth center was empty. So like, you can come. And I think actually I had the show. Mm-hmm. So you know when the mucus plug goes. So I think that's actually what prompted me to go more so. I didn't have that with Jariah, but I had that like mucusy thing. So I thought, oh, let me go. And I told them that. So I said, come in. And again, she texted me. She was like, oh, you're 2 centimeters. But because your first one was quick, we'll let you stay. And it's empty, it's not busy. So I thought, okay. So I thought, let me go into the pool, experience this birth center life. So I went to the pool and all of a sudden I was feeling really hot. I think God was saying, I didn't tell you to go birth center, to go in the pool. I was just so hot. I was like, no, I need to come out of here. And then when I came out, I was just like, I feel like I need to poo. And I had a spicy Indian that day. Do you remember? It was a Friday. I had a spicy Indian. Because Zachary was like, the due date had passed. So I thought, you know, this spicy food, all these things. And I was thinking, so I was literally thinking, why did I have that spicy food? And literally, I was just thinking, because I really felt like I needed to poo. And because she had just told me I was 2 centimeters, I did not. No way. I really thought it was a poo. I honestly thought it was a poo. And then I was like, oh, I feel like I need to poo. And they were just like, they would just sit watching me, just go, yeah, just do whatever you want. Yeah, just poo. If you want, just do it. Just do it on the bed.
Are you allowed to poo in labour?
Yeah, and I was like, okay, but I really thought, and I was thinking, why did I eat that? That's what I was thinking, why did I eat that curry? And then like I started pushing, and then I just realized, oh, the baby's, and then I was like, and I felt something coming out, and I was like, is that poo? And they were like, no, it's the head. And I was like, oh, okay. But to be honest, I was so in control of the pushing. It was, they were watching me, but I felt like my body was just like ejecting the baby. Like it was, I don't know, but it was, I think the pushing was so much better than with Jiraiya.
Yeah.
It just felt like everything was in a rhythm and flowing, and it was like maybe 5 pushes, and then he was like out. And I think my mum was just like,
just want to think of this child.
yeah, and so, but I did feel more pressure, I would say, like maybe because it was so quick from 2 to 10, because even on my notes, it's like 17 minutes of labour is what they put on the thing. For active labour, yeah. And they checked me from 2 to 10. Yeah. And I think the quickness of it, my body just literally went from 0 to 100. And yeah, but the pushing was like, that's why I feel confident I could deliver someone's baby. I could guide you through the pushing. And one tip I would say is that when you're late in stage of pregnancy like this, when you're pooing, practice then. That's what I do. That's what I used to do, you know. So I know this is a little bit graphic, but honestly, when you're on it, just practice. Like, you know, because it's kind of like, you know, when you need to go to the toilet, but it's not ready to come, and you're just pushing, and there's no point of pushing. So you have to wait till it's ripe. That's what like pushing is like. It's like, so I think people text. I haven't torn in both of them. So so I think that's because you have to wait until the baby's like ready to come out. But I think some people, they just want it to happen. So they're just pushing, and it's not coming. But you have to wait until it sits and it's like, yeah, when I push.
It's in the right place.
Yeah.
So I thank God. So I love labour.
Thank you.
It's the placenta that takes long, but I love labour.
Thank you.
So
yeah, so tell us yours.
Post having been in Jenny's first labour, I mean, it was a great experience, to be honest. I couldn't have.
Did you see everything?
Yeah. I couldn't have asked for any other example that wouldn't have gave me, you know, great anticipation for my own labour. So my first labour. So after having seen Jenny in labour, not wanting to see anyone's other labour stories, I was just like, I've seen the labour, so it's fine. I didn't need to hear yours. And then I read the book. I got the book myself. Read the book, which is Supernatural Childbirth.
With the link below.
Yeah. And I read the book, and we were pregnant actually for her second and my first at the same time, and we were actually living in the same house. So we were doing declarations together. So yeah, all of this added to my faith and my mindset that I was also going to have a pain-free labour. So when I went into labour, I went to labour 3 days after Zachary was born. I was walking around and crowing, and I was thinking, I just need to get my last few things. And there was a week before I was due, so I thought, I've got a week. I don't know why I always think that they just come on your due dates. I just think, it wasn't now. Walking around crowing, and I was like, what's that feeling? And every few steps I want to sit down, so I'll just sit down. And they will pass. So when I got home, I called.
Was that hard?
It was like my stomach hardening. Yes, but so when I sat down, I just felt better when I sat down rather than walking through it. So I'll just sit down, go through it, and then I'll just get up and carry on walking. So I did that all the way home. They got back to Lem's mum's house and told Jenny, and she was like, "Oh, maybe it's your contractions," but they weren't regular or anything like that. And that evening, we were going to see a house. When Lemma finally came back from work, and I told him, and I told their mum as well, and she was just looking at me like, "Oh, is it hurting you?" I was like, "No, it's not hurting." Because for me, it was like the pressure was to push, and I had that all the way throughout my labour. Like I always wanted to push. So it's like really fighting against that pressure to not push it, because I knew it wasn't time to push. So whenever it came, that's why I had to sit down and just. Control it, because I feel like if I stood up, I would want to just push. So every time it happened, I would just sit down. So went to see the house. I was still having. It was happening a bit more regularly, probably like every 20 minutes. And we went to see the house like around 8. So then we came back, and then I was like, I'm just going to sleep. Went to sleep. Woke up at like 12. Because I just felt lying down wasn't comfortable. I just wanted to sit up. So I was sitting in that position. So I sat in the living room from 12 till. So before 12, at 12, went to the hospital. I was like, let's just go to the hospital and see what they say. Went to the hospital. She was like, "Oh, you're 1 centimetre." And I was like, she's like, "You pull up your leggings." Okay. And she said, "Bye." So I was like, "Okay, bye." And so I went home, and she's like, "Yeah, go to sleep." So I just sat from 12 till the AM, I sat in that position. I think I must have fallen asleep because time passed, but I just sat in that same position in the chair while Emma got a very good sleep in his bed. So at 7, I was like, oh, let's go again. And then their mum was up as well. She's like, are you okay? And she kept just going like, are you okay? I was like, I'm fine. But it's like I'm not saying she wouldn't be in pain, but it's like, I think people want you to be more than or to believe you. And so I was just like, I'm okay. But it's like she was just saying, oh, okay. Anyways, so we went at 7 a.m, got back there. I was still acting the same way. It's like I would want to sit down whenever I was having a contraction. And so she was like to me, the lady who checked me was just about to leave. She was like, I'll check you. So she checked me. She's like, you're 6 centimeters. Well done. You seem the same. And I was like, oh, thank God I can stay. So they let me stay in the birth was empty. So I stayed in the room. And then they had their changeover. So I had a new midwife who was one auntie. I said, whoa, this auntie Pauline. I said, she came and she was like, oh, hi. And she was like, oh, hi. But she was Nigerian. So she was talking to us. And she was sometimes like, are you okay? She didn't really believe I was in labor. Yeah. She didn't check me either. She just told I was 6 centimeters. So I went through all, my waters hadn't broken still. So 6 centimeters was 8 a.m. I had the baby at 1:30. So that whole time my waters didn't break until 15 minutes before Bria was born. And so the whole time she kept going, oh, I wish I could break it for you. I wish I could break it for you, but we can't do that in the birth center. We are not allowed. Because I'll be in trouble if I do it. I was like, okay, and still, but I just wanted them to break because I think that's what was pushing me to want to push. Like my body wanted it to pop, but it just wasn't. And I was going in and out of the water because I like the water. And so one time I went into the water, at 1 o'clock I went into the water. If it doesn't break by 2, they take me to the delivery suite and then don't intervene, they'll break it. If I got to 10 centimeters basically. So I was like, fine. So she'll check me at 2 and see. So at 1 o'clock I think I went into the bath and I was on my knees. I was just like wiggling around in the bath. And then they apparently both heard a pop. I didn't hear a pop, I just felt a release. And so my waters broke in the water. And then Lemma was like, oh, her waters are broken. And I was like, oh, I think they have. And she was like, oh, let me check. So she put something to check and she was like, oh, yeah, you have. And then she was like, so now if you feel to push, do push. Because I think before it was like me, I would have just pushed my waters to break rather than pushing the baby out. So then and I was like, oh, in the bath. She was like, yeah, it's fine, but I just can't get in with you. But I don't think I really understood what that meant for me. So I think I wish I had been outside of the bath so she could guide me more because she couldn't really see. And so it was just down to me. And I think having you explain Jirai and Zachary that you're more in control of your pushes, I think it's because you understood what contractions do. Yeah. But I think the first pregnancy, I think it is good for you to be guided because I think in the past she couldn't see anything, so I was just pushing whenever. So 1:50 my water's broken and she came out at 1:38 or something like that. So it didn't take long for me to push her out, but I think I was pushing preemptively. Like I just would push at any time. So afterwards, so she came out and then I came out of the bath and then she checked me. She told me I tore, but I didn't feel in pain or anything like that. But I think that was a lot of all the preemptive pushing I was doing and not being guided. So I think this time round, being 35 weeks now, I think I was trusting God for pain-free labour. So it was pain-free for me. It was just pressure to push. It was like I wanted to always push, and I shouldn't have. I just know now I should just listen to my body and be much more in tune. And so I'll be doing that this time, but I'll definitely stay out of the bath so that it's clear. Yeah, everyone can see what's happening.
I don't have time.
Exactly. So, but Auntie Pauline she was like, wow, this is impressive. I didn't hear one scream. She's like, you hear the screams.
But when you're in the, because I think when Dry was born,
there were screams. You
could hear from the birthing centre, people scream of agony.
Yeah, there were screams.
And all this. So that's why as well, I was like, am I late? I didn't know.
There were screams. And
so you hear people they're dying.
Yeah, there were screams. And so she was like, I didn't hear one scream. And so she changed over when she was like, she was like, I didn't hear one scream from her. And honestly, it was good. And then she was like holding Bria and she's like, she was putting her clothes on her. She's like, you just wait, your grandma will bath you tonight. She was so funny. But yeah, I think I'm grateful for her. Grateful for Lemon was helpful. He was not. It was only me and him as well. So I think he felt like, what should I do? Am I doing the right things? No, he wasn't. He would just ask me, is the music okay? And stuff like that. And I think at the beginning when we got there, I threw up. he didn't know what, he was like, are you okay? He was just like standing there like, she's throwing up like, yeah. And so I think because we wanted your mum to be there, but she had gone to Malta for that, I remember, for her anniversary, so she couldn't. And so he was by himself, so he wasn't sure what to say, what to do when, he was just sitting there. But yeah, he was helpful as much as he could be. So yeah.
So my labour, slightly different. But when I look back on my labour, I actually find it all very funny.
Why?
I don't know, I just find the whole experience, like when I think back to what I was like, to me it's just all like, it's like just a movie, like before my eyes. So I went into labour like a week and a bit early because, so basically 2 weeks before I went into labour, I thought my waters had gone, but because I just felt like, oh, there's stuff coming out, but I don't know what it is. So me and Amit went to the hospital. They checked me with like the speculum thing, which is what they use for like smear tests. Oh, okay. And she was like, oh, I don't think it's your waters. I think it's just excess discharge. So she like sent me home. I was like, okay, fine. Then a week after that, in the middle of the night, I went to the toilet, came back to the bed, and then I just sat up, and then I felt like, oh, there's like a patch of water on the bed, but I didn't hear like a pop or anything, because you know, like when you read stories, it's always like really dramatic or something. So I thought, okay, well, I don't know what to do. So I called the MAU or whatever it was, and they said, oh, okay, come in and we'll check you again, because they said usually within 24 hours you would go into labour or something. So I came in it was like 3 a.m. or something, went into the hospital. They checked me again, and then this midwife was like, we're not sure if it's your waters or not, but because you came in last week or whatever, just to be safe, I'll say come in tomorrow morning for a scan and they can check you to see if your waters have actually depleted or not. I was like, okay, fine. So then she sent me home, but because I was so tired because I'd been there for so long. Because she told me to come first thing in the morning. We slept, I think, until about 11, and they called me and were like, oh, come in for your scans or whatever. So I didn't even bath that morning because I was just like, oh, I'm late. But we brushed our teeth, we got our things, and then we like left because I didn't think it was going to be anything. So when they took me in for the scan, and then they were like, oh yes, it does look like your waters have been trickling out slowly. I was like, okay, fine. So I left, and they said, oh, go up to this consultant. So she brought me and Amit into a room and was just like, yeah, so sorry, but yeah, your waters have been going and there is a risk of infection, so we need to induce you. And I was like, oh, okay, so when will that be booked in for, like, kind of thing? And she was like, oh no, you're going there now. So I was like, oh, do I have time to do stuff? She's like, no, you're going there now. I was like, so does that mean I can't go into the birthing centre? And she's like, she laughed, was like, no way. But, oh, okay. So literally me and Amit afterwards like left the room and just like called my mum, like, Mum, so basically I'm going now to the labour ward. They said it could be anything from 24 hours to 72 hours or whatever. So I was like, oh God. So yeah, they took me to the ward, and then they had to, I think they put me on a drip of antibiotics because obviously to lower the risk of the infection. Oh. And then they said, so basically what they were going to put is a patisserie. I think that's the word. So it's kind of like a tampon kind of thing that's got the drug on it that makes you go into labour. So they like put that up me. Yeah. So they put that up me at like 3 o'clock. And then they were like, yeah, it takes some women quite a while. So I was on a ward with like all women that were waiting to be induced, some that had been. So one woman had been there for 3 days and she was walking around fine, like going for baths. Like she had got her night, like she looked actually comfortable in the hospital. So I was thinking, no, maybe it's just gonna be like, I'm gonna be here for a while kind of thing. Amit got me food and he went home to like get all the stuff. So I was like lying down and stuff. I felt discomfort, but it was like nothing major. And then Amit came back in the evening. And I think at like 9 o'clock I spoke to like one of my cousins and I told her, oh yeah, I'm being induced. She was like, oh, really? Because I think I didn't know anything about being induced. Yeah. She was like, oh really, but how do you feel? And I was like, oh, I'm fine. But I think because she knew that being induced can be, no, but she'd heard stories of other people. So I was just like, no, I'm fine. And then got off the phone, and I think literally like half an hour later or something, I started to get contractions. But when I say I started to get contractions, they were back to back. Wow. And the midwife didn't believe that I was having them so often because we were tracking them on my phone. So is this hardening, loosening? Yeah. Okay. But I could feel, like when I say like I could feel, when I said, I said it felt like electric shock. It's kind of like, I don't know, some sort of feeling that comes over you. And then, yeah. But then I wasn't like screaming or anything, but it was just kind of like, stop. And then, I just felt really uncomfortable. It's like I wanted to sleep, but I couldn't really. And I hadn't been to any antenatal classes because I missed them because I had a urine infection. So I was like, I don't really know how to lie. So the midwife came and like showed Amit how to rub my back and stuff. But even that was kind of like, it doesn't touch. And it was like hot. Like, yes. So I was just like, this is not cutting it for me. It's not cutting it for me. So then she came in and she put on the monitor for me because she was like, well, no, it's nothing. Gave me paracetamol. That I was like, that's not really helping me because I can really feel it and it's coming quick. Put me on the monitor and then she saw like, I was having contractions as if I was in the final stages of labour or something. She called upstairs and told them, I guess, because I was like, when can I tell my mum to come then? So, but she checked me, but I was only 2 centimetres, so I was like, so what's that for? And then she came back and basically told me, so obviously the drugs are like working too quickly for you, so we need to take it out. So then they took it out and hoped that would bring things down, but it didn't.
Does that thing stay up you?
Yeah, it stays up you. So they took it out, but it was still happening. So like, okay, we need to take you up to the delivery suite, even though you're not in active labour.
Yeah.
So went upstairs. Even the journey to upstairs, it was like they wanted me to sit in this wheelchair, but I didn't want to sit. I just wanted to like move. Yeah. So they made me go up. But I remember in the lift, I had like a contraction. I was literally like, the woman was like, just stay calm, just breathe through it. Like, okay. And then they took me up to the room, and then the doctor came in and like explaining, we're a bit concerned that the baby's distressed and stuff, but it should be fine. And I went to the toilet, came back, and then I just like threw up like consistently. I think it was like 7 times, and Amit was literally like, she's throwing up. What do I like? He had to get like bowls and bowls and stuff, and I was just like, afterwards I was like, I'm really sorry. Like I felt really bad. And then so after that, the guy said that he needed to like break the rest of my waters because it hadn't gone fully. And I think that was the worst part of labour for me. So he I don't know what he put up me or whatever.
Probably a stick.
That felt so painful. And they gave me gas and air and I didn't like it because it made me feel like I wasn't in control because it made me feel loopy. Yeah. And I just remember, this is the noise I was making. that was the noise that I was making. And I was literally like, get out, like get your hand out, like what? And then he literally was like, Michelle, calm down. I need to break your waters. That's what I'm trying to do. I was like, but why is it not happening already? Then he did it, and then he did it, but then I don't think it all went out because then after a while I think more came out, and I was like, I think I just wet myself. And they're like, oh no, it's fine. It's just more of your waters going. But I felt like so guilty that I've dirtied your sheets and stuff. And then after that, the doctor came and was like, we probably need to give you some more drugs and stuff. And I was like, oh, Ma, I wanted to do everything naturally. But like, he wasn't really explaining stuff. And he was like, okay, well, you can call your mum now. So then my mum came, and then they were like, so basically they brought the anaesthetist, that guy to come in and like do an epidural basically. My mum was like, Michelle, do you really want this? I was like, what, the C-section? Because he said basically, now that your mum's here, you need to have an emergency C-section. And I was like, how long do we have to decide whether or not we'll go with the emergency? No, it's an emergency. We've been not been telling you, but the baby's in distress, so you need to go. And I was like, okay. My mum was like just so panicked, like so.
She's never had a C-section.
She's never had a C-section. So for her, she was just like, oh my gosh. I was like, Mummy, don't worry, let's just pray.
So I
was calming her down because I knew she just looked like, this is not what we do.
Yeah. It's not what we do. It's not what they do my family.
Exactly. So I was just like, Mum, it's fine. I'm going to go in and I'm going to come out with the baby. You're going to see him kind of thing. So we just prayed, and then like literally it was 5 minutes and we were in the theatre. And then Amit was there next to me. I just remember it was just like really cold in there. And then they had to test me to see if the spinal block had worked and stuff. And you just get a bit scared because you're like, what if it hasn't worked? So then what if like halfway through and you start feeling stuff? But they literally cut me open. And they said that he might not cry because he was in so much distress, but he came out and he was screaming the place down, literally, like screaming the place down. And then Amit went with him and they weighed him and stuff. And I was like there by myself, but I was like crying because it's like I heard him crying. I felt like, oh my God, I just had a baby, but he's not next to me. So my anaesthetist or whatever that is, he was like sitting next to me. He was like, I'll get you tissues. He's so cute. Like was like really consoling me and stuff, which was really good. And then Amit came back, and I remember just asking, has he got a lot of hair? And he was like, no. Sorry. And then they just like laid him next to me whilst they like sewed me back up and stuff. And then the sewing up was what took the longest. I think it felt like an hour or something. And then they wheeled me back and my mum was like waiting, and it was just like they put him straight on my boob and he was just like, yeah, she was so happy. I just remember feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm a mum now. And yeah, it was really, really good.
Did you cry?
Yeah, I think
You cried for dry.
yeah, because I think when they brought him under, he brought him under me, and I think I was just like, it was you kicking me. That little face, it was you. I think it was quite emotional. And then with Zachary as well, I think I was just like, I can't believe that I'd done it again. And I remember just being like, give me a second. And then I saw him and I was like, oh, that lovely baby son. But it was emotional. But yeah.
I didn't cry. I think I just asked. I just went, look at her hair. So yeah, but thank you very much for tuning in to our episode today. This has been our best stories. As we said, we didn't want to scare you, we wanted to give you what happened to our experiences, and we hope that, if you want to trust God, obviously get in touch. If you want to trust God for pain-free labour, there's nothing wrong with that. No one should tell you that it's not possible. All things are possible with Christ. So get in touch with us, email us, let us know if you want to find out those declarations. But yeah, and every labour is different. So always remember that your labour will be different from anyone else's. So don't let anyone make you feel like you have to have a certain labour. It's all different. It's you and your baby, and as long as your baby comes into this world healthy and happy, that's the main thing. So thank you so much for watching. We hope you've been equipped, you've been encouraged, and you've been empowered. And please don't forget to subscribe and like our channel. Bye.